Thank you for your testimony. We will now move into the question and answer portion of the hearing, and I will begin the questioning and recognize myself for 5 minutes. Let me say in the startup that we've got at least two issues. One, we got to make it safer. Apparently, we got some gaps. Ms. Shim has pointed that out, Ms. Colon, and we'll have to work on that. Two, we have the situations that Mr. Kress has brought up where people are intentionally getting out from under the umbrella of safe sport. And that was actually brought to me, and it's one of the good news, bad news things. It was brought to me by a coach. It was not brought by some high-powered lobbyist. One of my coaches in my district came to me and said, we have a problem. This hearing today probably, again, good news, bad news. It probably won't make the front page of any major news outlet. The reason for that is that I think most of the members, while we may not completely agree on how to solve the problems, most of the members of this committee, particularly this subcommittee, are passionate about trying to help where we can to change the legislation, to make the changes that we think are necessary to solve some of the problems you've raised, Ms. Shim, and some of the problems that you recognize as well, Ms. Colon. That being said, I have to tell you, I did smile. Back in February, I went to a Virginia High School League swimming meet. I've been involved in the sport of swimming for 55 years, and my son was the alternate. We've never been great. We've been good, but we've never been great. He was the alternate on a relay team that was competing at the state championship. And as I found myself compelled to head to the men's room, I couldn't help but smile because on the door there was a sign that I've never seen before at any swimming meet, and I've been going for 55, 57 years to swimming meets, that said, no swimmers allowed in this bathroom, safe sport. And I tell you, I smiled because this committee has been working on that kind of stuff, and it's a small step. It doesn't solve Ms. Shim's problems. It's nowhere near those problems. But I couldn't help but think somebody's paying attention, and we're doing some good stuff. All right, that said, Mr. Kress, how many youth leagues are currently affiliated with USA Softball?
Youth leagues across the United States is into the hundreds of thousands that are affiliated with us.
And do you have a number of how many teams are out there that are still operating that have disaffiliated from your organization in the past year?
In the past year, disaffiliated has been approximately 3,500.
And it was more the year before that, and I mean, so that's
Yes.
cumulative. There's more than that. And how many leagues have disaffiliated?
When you take that many teams, the leagues are a little bit less than that, so it's only about 300.
Okay. And how many athletes would you say that encompasses?
At 3,000 team or 3,500 teams, we're looking at about 6,000 athletes.
Yeah. And what concerns me is that you're the national governing body. Your member leagues are required to report abuses and to follow the safe sport standards. And while they may not be perfect, they may not be as good as we'd like them to be, it's a whole lot better than having no standards. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir, I would agree.
And your coaches and trainers are undergoing the safe sport training, and they have to do. It's not that much. A 2-hour training course the first year and 30 to 45 minutes each, or subsequently every 3 years. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And yet, because of the fees that are required because of the background checks, and because of the having to sit down and watch a video and maybe answer some questions, you're losing these teams to other leagues that are specifically advertising. I think you testified that you don't have to deal with the background check and you don't have to deal with taking the classes. If you come over here, it's just a lot easier.
That is correct. That is what we're seeing.
And the problem that I have with that is, as a former criminal defense attorney, is that if you make it easy for the bad guys, they're going to go where it's easier. Isn't that true?
That is what we have found out. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you have intentions to do bad things in any sport, not just softball, you're going to try to go where the safe sport is not at least doing some protective work. Isn't that true?
That's correct.
And that's what concerns me, and we've got to figure it out. We thought that by going to the national governing bodies, we would take care of it. That was our error, and that's one of the things we have to fix. Would you agree with that?
I would. Yes, sir, I do agree.
Ms. Shim, you would agree with that too, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would agree.
Ms. Deal, do you agree with that?
Completely.
And you, I assume, would agree with that too, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we just have to work on to a great degree. I've got a couple of documents that just point out the advertisements so that anybody out there who thinks or reads the record later thinks there wasn't any evidence of that. We've got the advertisements, and we're going to submit those of leagues saying, come to us, you don't have to do Safe Sport, and I'll submit those, and we'll put that up later. All right. That being said, I yield my time back and now recognize Ms. Castor for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Well,